Всем привет, это канал Play Game. Зовут меня Сергей, и мы продолжаем проходить игру Juarez.
The very same saloon we're sitting in today.
Мы в какой-то салон тут зашли.
Look around and imagine this place painted in blood. Hardin was waiting for me.
Куча трупов. Так.
Wait, I'm jumping the gun here.
Забегай вперед.
Let me back up and give you some
немного.
background on this son of a
Расскажу
bitch.
вам об этом сукином сыне.
He deserves that.
Он того заслуживает. Не
Don't you
правда ли,
think so,
Бен?
Ben? John Wesley
Джон
Hardin was
Уэсли
a
Хардин
killer.
был убийцей. Ранее
By the end, he confessed to taking the lives of 42 men, fathers and husbands, brothers and sons, men with families who cared about them. He was a bona fide folk hero by then, and had amassed a gang of armed miscreants and other assorted thugs. He and his men set up camp outside of town, and I was hoping Bob was among them.
Damn it! Shoot that son of a bitch!
They didn't ask why I was there. They knew, as most of them were wanted as well. I figured Hardin was here somewhere, but to get to him, I'd have to get past his gun hands. And that was easier said than done, as most of them were as foolish and full of bravado as I was. I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Hardin wasn't in that camp. He was carousing in town with his closest friends.
Револьверы Старого Запада. После ковбойской шляпы самым характерным атрибутом Дикого Запада является капсюльный револьвер, изобретенный Сэмюэлом Кольтом в 1836 году. Этот револьвер, наряду с магазинной винтовкой Винчестер, был излюбленным методом раздачи смерти в поздние годы 19 века. Первые револьверы заряжались фронтально, через порох закладывался в коморы барабана, а затем накрывал свинцовой пулей. С помощью шомпола все элементы удерживались на месте. В конце необходимо было только поместить на противоположной стороне барабана капсюли. Из-за такой схемы первые револьверы называли оружием с капсульным замком, потому что капсуль и пули закладывались по отдельности. Кольт Паттерсон и его поздние воплощения были образцом этой философии дизайна. Этот ряд включает в себя модели Уолкинг, Драгун, флотский Кольт 1951 года. Порой таким пользовался Дикий Билл Хикок, армейский Кольт 1960 года и другие. Уникальный дизайн имел револьвер Ремингтон 1958 года, потому что позволял заменить пустые барабаны заряженными прямо в разгар боя. В более поздних моделях револьверов в качестве боеприпасов стали использоваться цельные патроны, что позволило устранить необходимость закладывать каждый компонент в отдельности. Такое устройство имела модель 3 Смит Вессона. Один из его вариантов известен как револьвер Скофилда, а также наиболее передовые модели Кольта. Кроме того, на смену ударно-спусковому механизму одиночного действия, где барабан необходимо было вращать вручную, взводя курок, пришел так называемый механизм двойного действия, где при спуске также единым движением взводился курок и вращался барабан. Одно оставалось неизменным. На протяжении всей истории Дикого Запада в руках опытного стрелка револьверы были смертельным оружием.
Hardin's boys apparently didn't want me to reach the bull's head. Some were hightailing it into town to inform their jefe of my unwelcomed presence.
Brother, I'm gonna make you pay for that.
Блин, ну, бежит на пулю.
Time to feel you falling. That's right.
Вот это вот не побежает, не понял.
Tell Hardin someone's coming for him. Stop that son of a bitch!
Так, что
Let the boys know we got another law dog.
I wondered if Bob was among them.
на ходу. Пошел.
And I steeled myself for the fight ahead. For as good as I was, deep down I wondered if John Wesley wasn't just a little bit better.
Так, вот мы подходим к городу.
Before I could test my mettle against Hardin, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers. Most of these degenerates were beyond redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story.
Блин, а кто? Что-то я не понял. Что такое? Короче, надо собраться. Чуть я на каком-то месте, блин, застрял. Ну вот и все.
I didn't learn until later that that night was in fact his birthday celebration.
Валяется у нас патрончики. Надо, думаю, будет прокачать, чтобы винтовочных патрон побольше с собой носить. Что вы?
I think I already mentioned that I found Hardin in this very saloon.
Так, что, салон куда-то или что?
Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me. In fact, I felt a certain hostility. I was disappointed that neither Bob nor John Wesley were among the dead. But that was short-lived, as a moment later I was facing down the fastest gun in the West.
Так, кто там? Ну, вообще жестоко, я сейчас думаю. Первый раз убил 15. Убил человека за 15. И еще 40 после его поспешали. Джон Уэсли Харт.
I felt a bolt of adrenaline. Or maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him.
Блин, чё, почему у меня скорость не получается? Опа.
No, wait!
Даже пулю-то
You
не
didn't hit me
увидел, в
then.
смысле, как это
I'm sure
понятно?
of it.
Почему у меня скорость не получается?
That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots. And now, he was at my mercy.
So he didn't die?
No, I sent him to prison. Years later, after he was free, some restless Avenger took his life. Shot him in the back at a saloon just like this one. Anybody up for another beer? Ben? Thank you, darling.
Спасибо, дорогуша.
Yeah,
Да,
some say
некоторые говорят, что
revenge
месть — это
is a
блюдо,
dish
которое подают
best served
холодным.
cold.
So whatever happened to
Так что
that
в итоге
Bob guy
случилось с
you were
этим Бобом,
after?
за которым вы охотились?
Personally, I'd like to
Лично
hear
мне
some of
хотелось
your
бы
other
послушать о других
adventures.
ваших приключениях.
Like,
Например, ну, не
I
знаю,
don't
дрались вы
know,
когда-нибудь один на
you
один
ever
с
go toe to
охотником?
toe with a red man?
Yes, I did, Ben.
Да, дрался, Бен.
I remember
Я
once I was
преследовал
after this
этого
renegade
Апача, серого
Apache,
волка.
Grey Wolf. Strangely enough,
Странная
revenge was
штука, его
also
главным
his
мотивом тоже
primary
была месть.
motivation.
Сайлос Грифс преследовал опасных преступников, таких как Джон Уэсли Хардин, в надежде, что они смогут навести его на след Брайанта. Танцы с отступниками.
A bounty was put on Grey
За голову
Wolf's
серого
head,
волка
and
была
that's how I
назначена
came to
награда.
hunt him
Именно
in the
поэтому я
mountains.
пришел
Mountains
высмотреть его
so
в горах.
high they
Эти
tickled
горы
the
были
nether
такими
regions of
высокими, что,
heaven.
наверное, под давным-давно в далеких горах.
Grey Wolf was a Chiricahua Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people.
А у меня уже прокачанный, значит, патроны много не ношу. Так, ладно.
The U.S. Army had attacked his tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony, and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger, as there's nothing more traumatic than seeing those you love die in a cruel and painful death. Right from the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move. He led a band of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him.
Да, это мы такой направляем. Найдите убежище отступников.
They saw me before I saw them.
Надо бы винтовочку лучше.
And it crossed my mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But now that the shooting has started, there was no backing down.
Рукопашку выхватил. Маскируется где-то, блин.
It was rugged country, the winter home of the Chiricahuas. And that's why they had
вот
retreated
больше
there.
вижу, что потом винтовочку.
I admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did. But then again, I got a lot of those.
Did you find Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hideout.
Что там? Попал.
A deep crevice that led to a deeper cave.
Don't tell me you went in there.
Yeah, but it's not out of bravery so much as pure, angry cussedness.
Защите в пещерах. Плохо.
See, back then,
Здесь
I
у
had a
нас
stubborn
нападают,
streak a
значит, мы на
mile
верном
wide,
пути.
and I wasn't about to back
Так,
down.
здесь у нас.
So it was like pitch black in there?
Actually, it was pretty well lit. They had torches on the wall.
Готовы.
How big was his cave?
Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there during the Indian Wars.
А, блин.
They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the horse soldiers.
The cave was haunted with dead Indian ghosts?
To be honest, I was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones.
Так, а у нас тут что, интересно, дуэль с ним будет в конце или что? Ах,
How come you know so much about engines?
A few years back, I was married to two Mescalero women.
так,
At the same time?
Yeah, they were sisters.
прямо.
Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
So what happened?
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy. Haven't seen them since.
No, I mean, what happened with Grey Wolf?
Oh, well, I pursued him into the Cave of Death. I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I
Так,
saw
что это
him.
такое теперь у нас будет?
He came to
Это
me
серый волк?
unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows. And I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me. As his story unfolded in my mind,
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul would have no rainbow if the eye had no tears.
he said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart, and an echo of the song of your dead summons the spirits deep from within the mountains.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes. And indeed,
что это
his
у нас?
warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines.
Так, что вот это? Перезарядка на бегу, она повышает скорость. Быстрее можем бегать. Быстрым нажатием кнопки аккуратно. Ладно, давайте вот это. Перезарядку на бегу.
They couldn't stop me, though, and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk. I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared. Kind of like a miracle.
Видите атаку индейцев. Ясно.
I felt like I would be lost in that damn cave forever. Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice, overlooking a thundering whitewater river. To get where I was going required several leaps of faith, but no way in hell I was turning back. I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo Jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens.
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of,
At least 3 or 4.
well, more than that, little lady.
Куда ты делся? Там. Стоп.
steep climb up creek ahead of me and scrambled up those rocks like a mountain goat. I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out exactly what the hell he was trying to tell me. And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding me.
100?
God be my witness.
Oh, come on. Who are you kidding?
Hey, I believe you.
Да что
Come
ты,
on,
давай
tell us how
забежай,
it ended.
хватит трындеть,
All
что там
right, but I'm not gonna drag this out. Where were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Тут кто-то. Вообще не вижу.
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen
Ох ты,
before.
ничего себе, это как?
I followed it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me. But it was like
Да
that
куда
son of a
серый
bitch
волчок
disappeared
убежал-то?
into thin air.
Так, что теперь у нас будет?
Never did
Что
find
ли?
him.
Я так и не
And
нашел
never
его,
did
так и не
collect my
получил
goddamn
то
bounty.
проклятое вознаграждение. 113 убийств. Офигеть.
Thank you, darling. It's
Спасибо, милая.
interesting how the
Интересная штука,
truth can
правда? Иногда может
sometimes seem
становиться очень
might
гибкой, в зависимости
malleable,
от твоей точки
depending upon
зрения.
your point of view.
Like how those dime
Как,
novels
например, с
make you
такими
out to be
дешевыми
something
романами,
you're
которые
not.
описывают вас не тем,
Jack,
кем
don't
вы
be
на самом
starting
деле.
trouble.
Не создавай проблем.
No, he's right. They
Нет, он прав.
do tend
Эти
to
писатели имеют
exaggerate.
склонность все преувеличивать.
Did they exaggerate your
А
part
ваша
in
роль в
taking down the
устранении
Daltons?
Далтонов тоже преувеличена?
Well, I was there in the
Ну, парень,
flesh,
я был
boy,
там
so I
собственной
saw what
персоной,
happened
своими глазами видел
firsthand.
все, что там происходило.
Those Daltons were
Эти
lawmen
Далтоны были
once, before they all
законниками,
went
пока все
bad,
как один стали
robbing banks and
преступниками,
trains
обчищая
clear
банки
across the
по запад всей
territory,
территории до
until Coffeeville, of
Кристилля,
course.
конечно.
I was one of the
Я был
citizens who
одним из
took
тех
up arms
горожан,
that
которые
day.
взяли за оружие,
Fighting on the side of the
сражаясь на
right.
стороне
I
добра.
did my
Я не
best,
жалел
sir.
сил, сэр.
We all
Мы все
did.
не жалели. Серый волк, шаман Апачи, сделал Сайласу таинственное предостережение, предупредив об опасности утонуть в яде злобы и ненависти. Меня зовут Охотником за головами.
It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob two banks at the same time. Two banks on the same damn street.
Уничтожьте грабителя
Story
банка.
was Bob Dalton's girl was always writing him about how he had no ambition. Or you're nobody next to Jesse James, she'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeeville just to shut her up. Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off.
Задержите Далтона.
Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property. The brothers paid dearly for their
Братья
stupidity.
дорого заплатили
But
за свою
everybody
тупость. По
knows
всем известно,
they
что
had
они
it
получили. по
There's more to
заслугам.
it than that.
Дело
I
не
read
только в
all
этом. Я
about
много
that
читал о
day, so
событиях
I know
того
for a
дня и
fact that
точно
it went
знаю, что
down
все было
very
совсем
differently.
по-другому. Извлечённое,
First
как
of
же
all,
оно было?
it was
Во-первых,
high
стоял
noon.
самый
A
полдень.
posse of U.S.
Отряд
deputy marshals
поверенных
brought a
маршала
rooftop
пожарных
across the
засел на
street.
крыше здания через дорогу. Кофевиль, Канзас, 5 октября 1992 года,
The lawmen had been
11:55.
tracking the Daltons for months. Now they finally had them dead to rights. But those boys had a reputation as stone-cold killers, so the marshals took every precaution, knowing they wouldn't go easy. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. You just gotta wait till something bitches out.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. He went in there alone to confront those criminals. One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid him no mind.
Ой,
He saw a way to get around to the
так,
back of
это
the
что за
bank.
херня еще?
Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting. From above. Fortunately, a water tower was right there. A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did.
Отлично.
It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
Какой запас?
We've got company.
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free. Like Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett, who died defending the Alamo.
Is that Silas Greaves? Son of a bitch! Rule the day. Get out here!
Опа, уже обчистили.
Over there! That's Silas Greaves! What the hell?
Blank, blank!
Так, отлично,
Came
новый
away
уровень.
victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons.
Драмовик. Более высокий комбо в констра будет еще эффективнее, когда сосредоточен. Так, комбо. Дроть мне не надо. Так, винтовка. Скрин быстрое нажатие кнопки, аккуратнее общаясь. Ладно.
His name?
Отлично. Его имя
Silas
было
Greaves.
Сайлас Гривс.
And
И
when
когда
the dust
наконец
finally settled,
осела пыль, он
he
был
was the
единственным, кто
last
стоял
man
на
standing.
ногах.
Sorry, kid, but that
Извини,
just
парень, но
wasn't the
ничего
way it
подобного
happened.
там не было. По новой, что ли, банк защищать?
It was early evening,
Right.
not high noon.
Кофевиль, штат Канзас, 5 октября 1992 года.
I was late to the party and Coffeeville was already up in arms. The Daltons blew up a safe and were all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
Понятно. Ладно. Любовь, зло. Братья Далтоны.
I'd been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless. Finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeeville.
Банк, что ли, не надо?
You shit around corners? Face me, you coward!
Дайте мне сбежать.
And those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose them. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons. And they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons. Which wasn't any surprise, because those 2 families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeeville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens. The Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least 2 of them to escape. The 3rd brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work.
Пришибло все-таки что-то.
It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Reeves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. And I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
Я чё это самое, ты как Терминатор, ёб твою мать.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeeville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot
Говорят, в него
23
попали
times.
23
Well,
раза.
Dwight, who do you
Ну,
think
Дуайт,
put
кто,
all those
по-твоему,
damn
наделал в
holes
нем
in
столько
him?
дырок?
But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
За много лет Сайлас Грифс стал знаменитым охотником за головами. Его главной целью, однако, была месть Бобу Брайантом. Я все еще охотник за головами.
We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days
Мне
to track
понадобилось
the
несколько
Daltons
дней, чтобы
down.
выследить Далтонов. Где-то в Миссури. Осень 1892 года.
And in
Через
that
некоторое
time,
время
a
после
whole posse of
неудачного
local
ограбления.
vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
Так, ну что, друзья, давайте на этом мы закончим
They
нашу
seemed as
серию.
determined as me to find
Всем
those
спасибо за
outlaws.
просмотр, комментируйте
But as
видео,
we headed
ставьте
into
лайки
those
и не
swamps,
забывайте
it was like I
подписываться на
had
мой
my
канал.
own
Всем
private army.
пока.
There was no way to